Stadium, our home for Game 2 between the 10th-ranked Tennessee Lady Vols and the Kentucky Wildcats. Yesterday, Kentucky no-hit by Carlin Pickens, who leads this fantastic trio of really true aces. Sage Margetko and Aaron Newer both have cut their ERA by a run and a half, and of course, Carlin Pickens is the star of the show. Alongside a former star of the show, National Player of the Year, Jenny Dalton-Hill, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, Jenny, this was the best pitching staff in the nation last year. They led the country. This same trio returns. They're a lot better this year, and they're still leading the country.
You're right. Back in 2023, head coach Karen Weekly decided that she wanted to move to more of a staff kind of approach to the pitching circle. Back then, Carlin Pickens was a freshman sitting behind Peyton Gottschall, and also the NFCA Pitcher of the Year, Ashley Rogers. And with that, she learned valuable lessons. This staff mentality has been a huge part of this Tennessee success. It led them back to Oklahoma City last year, and this season, the Lady Vol circle's dominating. Yesterday, Carlin Pickens, now in her senior season, faced some adversity with a little injury earlier in the year, but have batters hitting at just a 108 clip. Yesterday against Kentucky, finished the game with 12 strikeouts, and the fourth no-hitter for this pitching staff on the season. She
will hand the ball off to Sage Margetko today, who I mentioned has cut that ERA by a run and a half and just overall has gotten much better in her junior season.
She got a ton of innings last year, but played on a torn hip labrum, and so managed pain last year and was still incredibly successful this year, healthy and putting up better numbers.
Well, listen, nobody has it easy in the SEC, but Kentucky especially, currently on a stretch of 7 straight SEC weekends against top 15 opponents. That has led to a 1-15 conference record. Time is running out on Kentucky. They need wins, and they need them quickly.
They are facing the most difficult SEC schedule in the league, and it has been a beast for Kentucky hitters.
Abby Hammond gets the ball, a freshman from Lexington, went to Lexington Catholic High School. She's had some very bright moments this year and has had to really throw some big innings because of injuries on this pitching staff. First pitch of the game to Gabby Leach is down low for ball 1.
You talked about it. Hammond has had to enter into the circle a lot more than I think they were anticipating this season because of those injuries to the other pitchers in the circle.
They got a good start yesterday in game 1 from Mackenzie Oslonzi, who went 4 1/3, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. Did not allow a run until a solo home run in the 4th. Tennessee only had 6 hits as an offense, but 4 of them were solo home runs.
And they all came in the later innings, so it took a while for them to get used to Oslonzi in the circle. And it was a pretty short leash on Oslonzi as they entered in Hendigas to come in relief, and that's when the fireworks started happening for Tennessee.
1-2 to Leach. Just misses.
Really important for Hammond to be able to establish the zone quickly against these Tennessee hitters. To be able to nip corners, not leave the ball big. We see mistakes punished in the SEC.
Sits on the off speed and lofts it into left field. Reagan Oney has it for out number 1. So Leach leads things off. It's not a Tennessee team that has been without adversity in their own right, and they are dealing with some of it now as Leach is in the leadoff spot. Sophia Knight is missing now her 5th straight game. You see Elsa Morrison there in the 5-hole. The freshman catcher has some pop in her bat, hit one of those home runs yesterday.
She did the hottest hitter yesterday, going 2 for 3. One of them, both of those hits were actually for extra bases, double and a home run in yesterday's matchup.
Sophia Knight, who is their typical leadoff hitter, is a big miss. She hits over 430 on the season. She can run. 12 stolen bases, also leads the team. Transfer from Boise State, but misses again with illness. And the first 2 are retired quickly for Abby Hammond.
When you lose one of your key players this late in the season, it definitely shakes up your lineup, but also gives a different feel to your batting order. And so not having Sophia Knight, their best average hitter and their fastest player, not being in the top slot, has really has given them some hiccups in their batting order.
Now the sophomore Emma Clark. Clark homered yesterday. She's from Cleveland, North Carolina. Big improvement in her 2nd season. Her average up over 70 points this year. She's added power as well with 7 more home runs than last year, 20 more RBIs already.
Higher exit velo, more aggressive in the box. It's just about not being careful. You can't second guess yourself in the box in the SEC. You have to be committed to the plan and then just swing with aggression.
Takes the 2-0 pitch for strike 1.
And that's a really good hold. On a 2-0 count, you're looking for something with velocity. And as that ball comes in as a changeup, you're going to let that one go by and try to find the next one that gets to be a mistake over the plate.
Fouls it off. Nice job by Rachel Lawson in the Kentucky dugout to deflect that with her clipboard.
Yeah, we've seen Lawson get lit up, unfortunately, in the mouth of a dugout before. She sits in a vulnerable spot, especially against the tough SEC opponents that they face.
That's not for me.
No, luckily she's quick with the clipboard.
2-2. Into foul territory down the right field line and just beyond the reach of Plotz in right. Kentucky mentioned just the run that they're on right now. They're in the midst of it, too, on a stretch of 7 straight SEC weekends against top 15 opponents. Last weekend, they were at Oklahoma. They get Tennessee this weekend. They'll go to Alabama next weekend, and they'll host Texas the week after that.
And we've talked about the gauntlet of a schedule that Kentucky has had this season. The one series that I circled on their schedule at the beginning of the year was that Auburn series, that they needed to go in and take that series. Only able to get 1 win in that series against Auburn, and that is their only SEC win this year.
This is into left field, and another one for Oni out in left. So retired in order for Abby Hammond in the first. Wildcat bats up next. In Lexington, there's a lot of horses.
Well, April and October are your racing seasons at Keeneland. That's just down the road here in Lexington. So the horses are running, but also the horses are running here in John Kropp Stadium.
Sage Margetko, junior right-hander from Lamont, Illinois. 2nd year at Tennessee, started her career at South Carolina, part of a really good duo when she was a freshman, when Elena Vaughter was a senior at South Carolina. Now transfers over last year to be with Carlin Pickens in Tennessee. Part of the great trio. Faces the catcher Carly Sleeman to lead things off for Kentucky. In the air to shallow center field. Nice job by Morgan to take control. 1 out. Sleeman retired. Allie Blum is in the 2 holes. Only player yesterday not to strike out in the order. Having a great year, though, so far in just her sophomore season.
I think that was the key to yesterday, not striking out. Yesterday, sometimes these Kentucky hitters were a little too cautious, maybe a little too careful. And so finding the way to execute the plan is so important.
Blum has built on a really good freshman season. Her average is up about 50 points from last year, nearly 400. So she's done her job. When you look at some of the returners they had, this offense you might have expected to be a little bit better, but there are some struggles in there that are, you would probably say, unexpected.
I think what happens is you saw how Kentucky could hit at the beginning of this season. They hit so well in pre-conference. They came away scoring a ton of runs with some really big wins, and then the SEC season hit, and they have gotten back on their heels, swinging a little tentatively, not as aggressive on the zone.
Slow roller left side, handled by Rutan. Quick 2 outs for Margetko.
As a hitter, if you are ever second guessing, you're gonna miss barrel. Timing, hitting and timing hold hands. And if your timing is ever off, then you're gonna struggle in the box. Mix in the velocity that Tennessee throws with, as well as the mix of speeds that we're gonna see out of Margetko today. That's a recipe that's really difficult to hit against. And Kentucky's up against a really big 3-headed monster in Tennessee.
Emery Donaldson now at the plate. She was in the 2 hole yesterday, so moves down a spot here in game 2. Had a double in both of their midweek wins, snapped a 4-game hitless streak. There's strike 2 from Sage Margetko.
thing that makes Tennessee's pitching staff so hard to attack is yesterday you're facing someone throwing mid-70s. Today you're facing speed change. And when you're facing speed change like Margetco throws, it makes it really difficult to dig in and get your timing. And so that's what makes the trio of pitchers at Tennessee so hard. You've got velocity, you've got speed change, and then you've got some really good movement between all three.
1-2. Down and in. Margetco's Ks are up this year. Her walks are down. That has been maybe one of the knocks in her first couple seasons is the free passes, but we're not seeing that be an issue this season. Swing and a miss. 1-2-3 start for both pitchers. Margetco finishes it with a strikeout.
You mentioned it already. That strikeout to walk ratio has been so improved this year, and she gets her first one in the first inning.
Carlin Pickens got her golden ticket just a couple weeks ago. Got it from somebody who she had not yet met, but grew up kind of idolizing in Jenny Finch. What a special moment. There she is out in the bullpen, just staying loose.
I mean, she had 12 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit batter in the leadoff game here in this one. It was a no-hitter, the 4th one of the year for this pitching staff at Tennessee. I mean, just when you look at the way that this pro opportunity has come about for these collegiate players, it's pretty cool. And I think when you have such amazing talent in our game, now with a viable opportunity to continue to play here in the States, pretty cool.
Foul ball from Alana Leach leading off this second inning. And the golden tickets have become very quickly an extremely popular tradition in the world of softball. You got to give out the first one ever to Emma Lemley at Virginia Tech last year.
And everybody was so nervous. We didn't know if it was going to be something that took off, that everybody would think was pretty neat. But it quickly became people looking around, trying to see if there was anyone unique in the stands that was kind of out of place. Kim Ng, the commissioner for the AUSL, was starting to get recognized before golden tickets were being handed out at games. And so she had to kind of go into hiding and figure out how to be incognito as she would go to present these golden tickets as we see a hit batter for Tennessee. And so far we've had 8 golden tickets handed out this season. There are more coming. You just got to be aware, be ready. And it was pretty cool. Taryn Kern was the last one that was given out at Stanford on Friday night. But so many big names in our game are getting the chance to continue playing professionally.
We are going to have a challenge here on this hit batter. Rachel Lawson hopped up pretty quickly, feeling as though Alana Leach may have leaned into that a little bit.
The ruling on the field is a hit by pitch. Kentucky is challenging that call.
So they will take a look at that at Birmingham and bring that decision back to this umpiring crew here tonight.
Take a look.
And so the question is, does it hit the knob or does it hit the batter? And with so much protective gear, sometimes it can sound like it hits the bat when it hits an arm guard of some kind. That's what Rachel Lawson is questioning.
Yeah, leadoff base runner for Tennessee, the first runner of the game if it stands. Alana Leach, the twin sister of Gabby Leach.
And it does clip that elbow guard of Alana Leach. I think it'll stand based on that look.
The call is being relayed to our crew here in Lexington. Emeris Addison, Aaron Golden, and David Irwin, our umpires today.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Hit by pitch. That is Kentucky's first challenge. They have 1 remaining.
And so every team, every head coach gets 2 challenges. If they correctly challenge and the call is changed on the field, they retain that challenge. But because Rachel Lawson challenged that call and it was not changed, it stood, then she loses that challenge and has 1 remaining.
The umpires cannot initiate one until the 6th inning, so that's another thing to keep in mind for these coaches. Inside corner, strike one. Elsa Morrison, the catcher, steps to the plate for Tennessee. Her first career at bat was an RBI double. Her third career at bat was a 3-run home run, so she wasted no time acclimating herself to this level of softball. Takes outside, ball one.
When you're looking to make a starting roster as a freshman, you've got to make a pretty quick impact, and I think that's exactly what was expected by Elsa Morrison. The hometown kid coming in, trying to be the hometown hero, and did well at the beginning of the year.
Ball gets away from the catcher, Sleeman, and allows Leach to take second.
That's another area of Kentucky's game that is a little bit different tonight with Carly Sleeman back behind the dish. We've seen her at third base primarily, also in the DP role, but trying to mix things up and put more bats in the lineup. That's why we see Hammond in the circle. She has a really good stick, and also Sleeman behind the dish allows them to have more hitters in the lineup to try to go against Tennessee.
Just the 9th start behind the dish for Sleeman this year, and of her career for that matter.
She typically receives down in the zone very well. However, when you're not an everyday catcher, it can be very difficult to catch in SEC play and contain base runners.
I should say of her Kentucky career, which spans this year. She came from Central Michigan, where she caught. And now back-to-back free passes for Tennessee to start this second inning.
And that's not what you want to see. It was a very efficient first inning for Abby Hammond, but now stepping into the circle this inning, 2 free passes is not the way you want to start against an offense like Tennessee that takes time to get started. You don't want to give them any extra wiggle room early in a game.
Another Tennessee freshman, Taylon Holly, the left fielder, takes strike one on the outside corner. And the call from Karen Weekly. Takes outside, ball one.
And we talk about the strikeout to walk ratio, and Hammond's numbers are actually opposite than what you want to see. She comes into tonight with 17 strikeouts and 23 walks, so that now goes up to 24 walks. You're wanting to see those numbers flipped to be more efficient in the circle.
Waits on this pitch, out in the left field, ran down on the line by Oni for the first out.
Left field can be one of the most difficult spots to play in John Kropp Stadium. Not only is the sun set right in your eyes, but the wind blows across the field from right field to left. And so we've seen a lot of miscues by the left fielder over the years, simply because of the way the wind blows and the sun sets.
Rachel Lawson wants to talk things over with her pitcher, Abby Hammond. Tough to be a freshman in the SEC in the circle, but it's even tougher when 3 of your 6 pitchers are injured. They're without Carson Fall, who hasn't thrown since February 13th. She was their second most used arm a year ago. Sydney Langdon has only made 1 appearance this year. That came in late March. And then the freshman Haley Nutter, who was arguably one of their most effective arms, has also been out since March 21st.
And with those 3 departures from the circle, it puts a heavy load on the other 3. Abby Hammond, I don't think, was expected to carry this kind of load this year. She needed some development coming in to Kentucky.
This is upstairs, ball one. Savia Morgan, the center fielder, who's seeing some time right now with the injury to Sophia Knight. Morgan was a starter last year as a true freshman, started 59 of 62 games played at .340. Pretty good option for Tennessee. Chance for 2. Her speed's too much. They get the runner going to second, and there's 2 away.
And that's a good out by the shortstop, Madison Clark, to just get the out at second base. But you're right, Chucky, way too fast down the line. That's one of the skill sets of Savia Morgan that makes her so good in the box, is being able to just get down the line quickly. So no time to turn it, and now runners on the corners.
With 2 away, it's the transfer Maddie Rutan from Eastern Kentucky. Was the ASUN pitcher and freshman of the year a couple years ago. Morgan takes second. The throw down to third. Leach was standing on the base.
And remember, Sleeman, not the everyday catcher back behind the dish, so she didn't really sell that throw to get the runner off of the bag at third. So Leach at third said, I'll just stay right here.
Rutan waits on it, but underneath it, shallow center field. It is the second baseman, Blum, who makes the play. Another 0 for Hammond in the circle. Kentucky swept by Oklahoma last weekend, but in the midweek picked up a couple important wins over Eastern Kentucky and Morehead State. These are important because they are chasing an NCAA tournament berth, and you have to be over 500 to make it. So these midweek games, of which they only have 2 left, are really important for them.
You're right, their record right now sitting at 24-20, and with that record, the magic number is 28. That would mean that they would sit at 500 if they lost their first game in SEC tournament play. That's an important number to get to. So right now, Kentucky hunting for 4 more wins to get them to a chance to make the postseason.
Can the offense give them a spark here against Sage Marjetko? Abby Hammond has been solid through 2 innings in the circle. Big swing there from Carissa Hamilton to fall behind 0-2. Hamilton 0 for 3 with a strikeout in game 1. Takes ball 1 inside.
And the difference between yesterday facing what they had in the circle for Tennessee and today is so different. So preparing for both of these arms, a very different approach at the plate. You're looking at a ton of speed change by Marjetko, where yesterday all it was speed. You were facing heat out of the circle, mid-70s for most of the pitches that Carlin Pickens was throwing. Today, you're seeing the ball dance and move, slower velo, and a lot of off-speed.
Bounced in. Nice job by Hamilton to bounce back after falling behind 0-2, now a full count. Not just a great softball player in high school, she was a state qualifying swimmer in the 50-meter freestyle and the 200-meter freestyle relay. Rips this into right field, but nearly right at Gabby Leach for the first out.
But that is the best contact we've seen in this series so far. So not only was she able to come back from an 0-2 count, but then squares a ball up outside part of the plate. Really good hit to the right side. While it was a catch, that is a little win for Kentucky to be able to come back to the dugout and pass the bag.
Chance for Hammond to help herself out here. Hitting .226 on the season, couple home runs, 11 RBIs, and takes ball 1. Did you have any unusual talents? Or, I mean, like, swimming's not unusual necessarily, but somewhat unique for a high school sport.
It definitely is. I played badminton in high school.
Competitively?
Yeah, it was a sport in Southern California. I played 5 sports in high school, actually. Okay. So, yeah, finding ways to just get off the softball field and do other things, train other muscles, meet new friends, be coached by different people. I think that's such an important part of the game that's being taken away from our young athletes.
Was there anything else close to badminton?
We had water polo. I didn't play it. I did not play it, but we had water polo at our high school too.
Two-one count now. Strike 2 from Marjetko to Hammond.
And that's a pretty pitch. We were talking with the coaching staff for Kentucky about, what is it that they need to do at the plate? And it's about executing a plan. Pick a side, pick a speed, pick a quadrant.
Ground ball left side. Nice job over at third by Rutan. Been an excellent fielder this year for Tennessee. 2 away.
When defense has been something that has been a little bit sketchy the last little while in SEC play for the Tennessee Vols. They've struggled with errors since SEC play began. And I think that just comes down to the pressure that you feel week in and week out with this kind of schedule that you have in SEC play. It is so hard to be confident. And that's one of the things that I think they got caught with, was being a little hesitant at times. Also struggling to make a decision. Should I be aggressive? Should I stay back? And the speed of the game doesn't give you any wiggle room for error.
Wow, the off speed just completely freezes Clark at the plate, and Margetko up 0-2.
And it's all about making sure you're on time. So with less than 2 strikes, you're going to let that pitch go. Even though it gets called a strike, you have to be able to let that pitch go and show discipline. And then with 2 strikes, you've got to be able to battle it off. And that's the difficult part about Margetko. It's hitting all about being able to stay in your legs and let the barrel do the work. But when you face a speed change, it takes away some of that ability to stay back, get you out on your front foot.
Back up the middle, Margetko casually gloves it, and it's 6 up, 6 down for Sage Margetko, picking up right where Carlin Pickens left off.
Watching the excitement and enthusiasm of all the teams around the country, watching their dreams potentially come true on that night.
And selfishly, we are all awaiting the call to tell us where we're going, and that's extra special.
Come on, Checky, you got to build in the excitement somewhere as an announcer, right? You don't get to face these pitchers in the circle, so.
That's right. It's a good thing.
Would you be scared?
Yes. Yeah, I would, actually. 76 from Carlin Pickens. No, thank you.
Would you swing?
That's I mean, yeah, I think you're talking about just trust it. Like, there's nothing, I'm not going to see it, so I might as well swing. This is into right field. Plotz kind of went back originally, and that's going to fall in front of her for a base hit for Bella Faw.
Well, that ball now dropping sets things up for Gabby Leach, who had a big dinger yesterday. It was the end of the game when we saw a ton of power come out for Tennessee. It was her 4th at bat of the day. It was a big one. Solo shot.
Tennessee threatened in the 2nd inning, got their first 2 batters on due to free passes, a hit by pitch and a walk. Now Faw leads it off with a single. This is into left field, and no problem again for Reagan Oni, who has been busy out there. That's her 4th catch already in just 2 1/3.
Really impressed with the way that Oni does play that left field slot. There have been a lot of outfielders come through the ranks for Kentucky, and that spot has given problems to many of them, but she's playing it very solidly out there here today.
Keeps Faw on first base for Ella Dodge. Dodge, a redshirt sophomore. It's really her 3rd year, but she enrolled in January of the 2024, or just before that 2024 season, and redshirted. A 2-time state champ at Lakewood Ranch High School in Florida. Catches the outside corner, strike 1.
Really good spot. To be able to nip corners is something that has continued to impress me about Hammond as she's evolved as a thrower in the circle. There's a difference between a thrower and a pitcher. A thrower is hitting spots. A pitcher starts becoming a master of their craft. And as Hammond, as we've watched her grow in the circle this year in a situation where she didn't plan on being one of the trusted arms in the circle this year, we're seeing her grow up right before our eyes, and she's starting to make that transition into what does a pitcher look like, not just a thrower in the SEC.
This is low to Dodge, 3-1 now. Tough count to Ella Dodge. One of those home runs yesterday, hitting .429. Runners in scoring position this year. Good in some clutch moments. This one a slow roller, not going to be quick enough to get 2. They retire her on her way to first, though, for out number 2.
For that out, you have to make sure that you play that ball in front of you, and that's exactly what the shortstop, Madison Clark's able to do, and that's what Rachel Lawson has been trying to coach her shortstop. Be very aggressive. We'll be able to talk to her next half inning.
Hoping her true freshman pitcher can dance out of this, put up a 3rd straight 0 against the Lady Vols. Similar to yesterday's game in a lot of ways. Neither team scored till the top of the 4th. And that's when Tennessee started letting it fly with the solo home runs. Nice pitch for strike one.
In talking with Karen Weekly before this series, we asked what was it that was causing maybe the lack of hits. They're 14th in the SEC in terms of their hit production, and she said, you know, we have very talented youth, but they're not extremely experienced, and emotions can create a lot of ups and downs in a season. And with those ups and downs, they got really high at the beginning of the year with a great win streak that has now set the standard. But at the same time, when the losses started to happen, the youth started to question their ability.
Just 3 seniors. That's one of the interesting pieces about this Tennessee team in the national contender conversation. Down the left field line, it goes under the glove of Donaldson, and Tennessee will get one across here in the third.
I mean, and that's a situation as a third baseman. You don't have a ton of speed at the plate, and so instead of taking that as a backhand on the line, you're playing tight on the line. Get in front of that ball. Don't play that with alligator arms, but get over there, square it up, make a throw across the diamond, keep that ball in front, especially with 2 outs. That's a tough break for Kentucky.
Rachel Lawson coming out to talk to her defense. Abby Hammond, a couple free passes in the second inning, the single in this inning here that really probably could have been caught. Everything, for the most part, has been soft contact off her.
They have, and when it comes to being able to play behind Abby Hammond, the defense has to show up. We've seen these pitchers give up a ton of runs in SEC play. However, in this series, they've done a very good job in early innings, and right now it's the defense that's giving them a moment of pause, and let's put a run up on the board.
Alana Leach, Gabby's twin sister, now steps up to the plate. We talked to Karen Weekly. She talked about kind of a lot of players slumped at the same time. Alana Leach was not one of them. The 10 games leading up to this series, hitting .440 with 4 home runs. Didn't play in their midweek game. Oh for 3 yesterday. Hits this hard, but right at Blum at second base. Tennessee on the board. We'll talk to Rachel Lawson on the other side. Tennessee, bottom of the third inning. We're joined by the longtime Kentucky head coach, Rachel Lawson. Coach, I want to ask you about your true freshman pitcher, Abby Hammond. 3 good innings today so far, but not just today, has had to step into maybe a larger role than expected with some of your injury. What stood out about her approach this year?
Yeah, she's just such a competitor. You know, she had to miss part of the fall due to some injuries, and she came back, so we weren't expecting her to be in this role. The fact that she's done it and done such a good job and has had such good command really says a lot about her character.
And your hitters are being asked to do a lot in this series. Yesterday facing velocity, now speed change. How did you prepare for today and this weekend?
Yeah, you know, you have all this stuff for you, and you prepare for the pitchers and things like that, but you can never prepare for the sequences and just getting on time, real time. So, you know, we got to do a better job of putting some, putting some quality at-bats together and stringing some things so we can, turn this around.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
19th year for Rachel Lawson, 650 wins as the Kentucky head coach, winningest coach in program history. Only time they missed the postseason was her first year.
And she's had 16 straight seasons with 30 or more wins. Right now, that streak looks to be in jeopardy as they face some really difficult opponents heading down the stretch.
They've gone to Supers 8 times. They went to the Women's College World Series in 2014. They've had some elite talent on this campus since she arrived nearly 2 decades ago.
Kelsey Nunley took them to the World Series in 2014.
This is smoked to left field and off the base of the wall, which in some ways kind of hurt Peyton Plotz. Probably would have had a double if that would have bounced differently, but it's a loud single.
We look at the way that Peyton Plotz's season has gone. She swung such a hot bat at the beginning of the year, and we've seen a big stretch without a home run out of Peyton Plotz. While that was not a home run by Plotz, that's the first hit in the series for Kentucky.
Ends a streak of 33 plate appearances without a hit. Klotz, when we talk about Kentucky and some of the offensive struggles, that's one. She was their top returning bat, hit .360 last year, 15 doubles, 16 home runs. This year, that averaged down under 290. So to see a swing like that right now when you're so desperate for wins down the stretch, the hope is that can she kind of break out at the end of this season.
You and I were talking about it before the game even started. She had a stretch of almost 70 at-bats without a home run. And the way that she started the year, you thought, oh, she's back to business. Like, she's not pressing, she's figured it out, she's calm in the box, she's got power to all fields, and then all of a sudden, SEC play started and things got quiet.
She has a hit in 5 of her last 6 games. That's low to the freshman Alexa Riddell, the center fielder. 2-2 count. True freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, went to Parkway West High School and takes that pitch. That's close, but it's ball 3.
And right now we're seeing Kentucky hitters a little more relaxed in the box. They are approaching Margetko a little bit more aggressively and with confidence.
3-2. Off the end of the bat, awkward spot out in right field. Leach runs onto it though, and there's one out.
Just a good play by the right fielder, Leach, to be able to truck in and get that one, because off the end of the bat, it did not push very deep into the outfield. So it's so important as an outfielder to read that off the bat, recognize that your infielders are not going to be able to retreat far enough. So a good little out by the right fielder.
She is a really good defender out in right field, has a great arm as well. The pitch is in for strike 1 to Reagan Oney, the left fielder. Mentioned how busy she's been on defense. This is her first trip to the plate today.
And she's been good in the outfield. She started as an infielder for Kentucky, was moved to the outfield right before the season started.
A lot of moving pieces in general for Kentucky. They have 9 newcomers. Had some big departures. Cassie Reisner hit 10 home runs, 30 RBIs, 4 other regular starters. Mackenzie Bump was 3rd in average last year, but she only played 27 games due to injury. One-two count to Oney off the handle.
You see that deep sigh. That's the shake it off and move on. Having a goldfish mentality is so important in this game because it is a game of failure. You're not going to be perfect every single time you come to the plate. You've got to be able to focus pitch to pitch.
Got her looking. Great spot there from Margetko, her 2nd strikeout.
And while that deep breath is hopeful to try to reset you, you've got to be ready to attack. That pitch down and away is very hittable, but she has established that outside corner, is able to find it, gets her 2nd strikeout of the day.
Back to the top of the order for Carly Sleeman, who takes ball 1 in the dirt.
Sleeman was in RBI potential situations as she sat middle of the lineup earlier this year, but knowing that they needed to get this big bat in more often, they've moved her to the top and now has a runner on.
Take strike 1. 1-1 count to Sleeman. She leads them with 11 home runs, 2nd on the team with 34 RBIs. Really had a big jump last year in her power numbers. Hit 4 as a true freshman at Central Michigan, hit 17 last year.
The evolution that I need to see in Carly Sleeman from this year, where she's doing very well, to next year is being able to hit on different planes. We've seen her be able to execute well on balls a little bit more up in the zone, but that's going to be exploited. Hitters or pitchers are going to find that pitch down in the zone, and as an elite hitter, you have to be able to swing to different planes and execute at a high level to be more dominant.
Three-one. Misses. Sleeman draws the walk. First and second now for Allie Blum. Let's go back to that on the hitting on different planes. What's the key to it exactly for a hitter?
As a hitter, you have to be adaptable. If that ball goes up, you can't have a steep incline in terms of how you swing the bat. You need to be a little bit more level to be able to adjust to the pitch that sits above the belt or below the belt. And with the way that Carly Sleeman has entered this year, she has a very steep incline in terms of from low to high as she swings the bat. And with that, your hittable zones decrease. So Sleeman's evolution needs to involve maybe leveling out that swing plane to be able to execute on different pitches.
Karen Weekly calming things down. There are 2 outs for Tennessee right now. But in a tough spot in the order, Allie Blum is arguably Kentucky's best hitter.
And with just a 1-run lead, this is the toughest situation that Tennessee's been in this series. So Kentucky needs to continue to put the pressure on. With 2 outs, Tennessee seems to have the advantage here. However, you sit against now the toughest bat in Kentucky's lineup with Allie Blum coming to the plate with the highest average, and yesterday did not strike out once against Pickens.
Rachel Lawson had a really interesting comment about this team and the stretch that they're on right now. She said, look, you still want it to be fun. You still want to play the game that you love. She said, one thing these freshmen and these young players in general have to understand is no one's coming to save you. You have to get after it and get better and save yourself. And it feels like right now, Kentucky just needs a savior. They need someone to step up and pick up an SEC win to get things pointed in the right direction.
And discipline at the plate is the first thing that you have to have. And with Blum at the plate yesterday, I was impressed with the way that she attacked Pickens. She did not strike out, the only Kentucky hitter to not strike out against Pickens, and has a very disciplined approach here in this at-bat.
2-0 from Marjetko, taking strike 1.
That outside corner is where you continue to see Marjetko exploit. So as a hitter in the dugout, you've got to be ready to say, hey, my hittable zone that I'm looking for early in a count is going the other way, and drive it through the 3-4 hole.
Just underneath that pitch to even the count at 2-2.
It's also really important, knowing that you're getting pitched outside, to not pull your front shoulder off. You have to make sure that that front side stays in to be able to execute going oppo with power.
Off speed, Blum just stays alive.
That's all you have to do, is spoil that off speed. You don't have to do damage with it. You just need to keep the at-bat alive. And Blum, really good job of just getting that pitch out of the way to get going to the next one.
I'm gonna make you put your pitcher's hat on. Would you throw that pitch again?
100%. You're sitting ahead. You're sitting even in the count. You've got one to play with.
2-2. Blum just tips that pitch back. This is a great battle from Allie Blum. A massive opportunity for Kentucky.
With a runner in scoring position, this is the most damage that Kentucky can do. Yesterday, couldn't really find a way to get on. They did get a free pass, did get a hit batter. But today, this inning, this is the most life we've seen out of the hitters for Kentucky.
Got her! Marjetko fired up, strikeout number 3, strands a pair.
That's a huge pitch for Sage Marjetko. An at-bat that Allie Blum continued to fight against, but up and away, gets the swing and miss. Huge third strike of the game, strikeout for the game.
Tennessee leading the Wildcats 1-0 after 3 innings, looking to secure the series win and then potentially go for a sweep tomorrow night. Great weekend of SEC softball so far. How about that Texas-Oklahoma series? My goodness.
Crazy when you watch the way that they had to come back in extra innings to get the win. Texas get the win today. Freshman gets the home run, and then a 2-run jack by Katie Stewart to get the walk-off win against Oklahoma in today's game.
Texas salvaging 1 game out of that. Oklahoma took the first 2. That team looks Really, really good. The Sooners trying to, you know, you're a really good program when you're bouncing back after losing a after not winning a national championship a year ago.
Yeah, that's a program that you're going to hear constantly in the conversation with the way that they continue to pitch, hit, play defense.
1-2 count to Elsa Morrison from the freshman Abby Hammond, who has been really good through 3 innings. Spins it outside, ball 2. Hammond grew up going to Kentucky sporting events since she was little, always wanted to wear these colors. This is high in the air to left center, caught by Riddell.
Communication so important between infield to outfield, but also outfielder to outfielder. Got some movement as Hendigas gets up in the bullpen and starts warming. I don't anticipate Hammond will go the distance, although she did get the complete game win in their midweek over Morehead State. I would expect that this game will be shared by the Kentucky pitching staff.
Taylon Holly takes the first pitch outside. Mentioned the Kentucky pitching staff injuries. It's just handcuffed them from a standpoint of giving teams different looks, of letting a pitcher have a chance to maybe take a breath and reset after a tough performance when you really only have 3 arms available. There might be one staff in the country that can get it done with 3 arms, and it's the one that's on the other side of the field from them in Tennessee.
Yeah, they're wearing different colors than Kentucky, and when you think about it, the 3 pitchers that Kentucky is throwing actually have very similar arsenals, and with that, just because you go to a different arm, it doesn't mean you get a different look. I'm talking to Rachel Lawson about her 3 pitchers. She says they're all very good pitchers, but when they all throw the same thing, it makes it difficult to disrupt timing of hitters or throw to different zones because they're all throwing similar pitches at about the same velocity.
1-2, off speed, hit into left field. It's a fair ball, and it's into the corner. Extra bases for Taylon Holly. A 1-out double for the true freshman from Murrieta, California.
I mean, just the way that she approached this at bat very professionally, ball outside part of the plate, that's where it was being executed. She wasn't giving a big pre-motion, not a big stride, just pokes this one out past Oni out in left. Lady Ball is looking for a little bit of a rally here with a runner scoring position. Just 1 out.
Like a variation of the Zombieland celebration. I'm not sure exactly what that was. It's Karen Weekly. We'll talk to her heading into the bottom of the 4th inning. Top 10 in all-time wins, 3rd among active coaches behind, well, I'm gonna have a little trivia. Do you know who she trails in active wins?
That is a great question.
It makes you feel better.
Did you have to look it up?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I know she sits behind Mike Candrea and Carol Hutchins.
All time, yes, yeah. There's 2 active coaches ahead of her in wins.
Patty Gasso.
Patty Gasso, yes. The other one, I'll give you a hint, is a former SEC head coach.
Oh my.
But still coaching.
You're gonna have to help me out.
Joe Evans.
There you go. Santa Barbara now.
Yeah, former Texas A&M head coach. Very nice. Two.
Didn't know we were going to play trivia. I would have prepared a little bit better.
I got to pull one out on you every once in a while. Tipped back by Savia Morgan. Reached on a fielder's choice her first time up. Took second base as well.
When you're at a part of the lineup where typically you like to see hitters that can hit runners in, but with Savia Morgan up to the plate, you're going to see your defense pulled in simply because she's more of a tap and go kind of hitter rather than one that's going to punch it over the wall.
Ground ball left side, scooped up over at third by Donaldson, and there are 2 outs.
that's why you play in as a defender, knowing that you need to pick that ball up before it hits the ground twice against the kind of speed that Morgan has down the line. So a really good play by Donaldson to get that one quickly.
2 away for Abby Hammond, trying to make it just 1 run through 4 innings against this Tennessee offense. Maddie Rutan steps in. Well, speaking of great coaches, and you mentioned Mike Candrea, it was a cool moment today in Baton Rouge. Him and Yvette Girard, the longtime Louisiana and then LSU head coach, threw out dual first pitches, and both of them were strikes for that matter.
Well, of course, they throw feel-good BP. That's some of my favorite BP to hit off of is Coach Candrea. But he grew up in Louisiana, and so it's kind of a coming home for him, and he was able to travel with Arizona as he still sits on staff with the athletics department, but not with the coaching staff. Pretty cool to have that as your mentor.
2-0 is inside now, a 3-0 count here to Rutan. What stood out about playing for Mike Candrea? Like, what was the it factor for arguably the greatest coach who's ever done it?
He was the guy that you looked to for leadership and then trusted us to execute. We never sat back on our laurels. Even after winning national championships, we came back to the drawing board the next year and continued to grind. He never let us feel like we had arrived. And while that may be harsh, he set the standard for what playing softball means. And so as I became an announcer, I had this expectation for what numbers should be, and my husband had to pull me back and say, Jenny, you had some of the best teams that have played the game, and so the numbers that you see are not maybe going to be the kind of numbers that you guys played at. But Coach Candrea never let us feel like we had reached our pinnacle. There was always more to do, always more room for growth. And for me, that's what Coach Candrea did for me. He let me know that I was good where I was, but there was always room to grow.
Tennessee's going to make a change here and pinch hit for Bella Faw. It'll be Mackenzie Butt, the sophomore, one of their 2 Boise State transfers. You see the numbers for Abby Hammond so far tonight. Just 2 hits allowed, couple free passes. Also had a hit by pitch back in the second.
And I think we might see a pitching change here, but we're talking about some pretty great coaches as Kentucky has another conference in the circle. But I'm actually sitting next to a pretty good coach up here in the box as Ralph Weekly sits in the booth up here next to us. A very amazing coach, coached with Team USA as well. He was co-head coach with Karen for 20 seasons, and for the last 5, she's been doing the head coach role on her own. But don't worry, Ralph's never far behind. There's Ralph Weekly taking notes. I actually have tried to look over my shoulder to see what he's writing, and I can't pick it out, but I'm gonna have to ask him what some of those cues are that there may be that he's gonna pass along to his wife tonight.
That's what I was going to say. You know who's going to know what he's writing in an hour or so.
Yeah, it's not going to be a secret for sure.
First pitch to Mackenzie Butt is low for ball 1. Special week for Ralph Weekly as well, going into the Tennessee Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Friday night, inducted into the Tennessee Hall of Fame. And when we asked Karen Weekly about it, she said, it was really cool, but I didn't get to ride the bus down with the team down here to Lexington, so they came on their own on Saturday. Actually, Friday night after the ceremony, got in late Friday and then picked up their first win of the series on Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon.
1-1 to Butt. Off the end of the bat, a chance for a force out over at third for Donaldson. Abby Hammond spinning it against Tennessee. We'll talk to the Lady Vols head coach next. This is just video game-esque numbers here from Carlin Pickens, Sage Margetko, and Aaron Newer, who I feel like you can pencil in on the lineup card for the Game 3 start tomorrow night.
Most definitely, and with Margetko can go the distance here, then Newer is fresh for tomorrow, but I also think with the low pitch count that Carlin Pickens had in the opener, that she has the potential to come back in and throw tomorrow as well. And so that three-headed monster makes, the thing that makes them so difficult is they throw very differently. So we're seeing Margetko throwing with a lot of speed change, Pickens yesterday with a ton of velocity, and then tomorrow, if Newer comes in as that third starter, she's throwing low 60s, a little bit more velo on her drop, but then has a floaty rise. Just so different looks coming out of the circle for Tennessee, which makes them difficult to prepare for.
First pitch swinging, it's a line shot right to Rutan, one out for Margetko.
But Kentucky is finally finding a way to attack on pitches that they're prepared for. And when you face a pitcher like Margetko, if you can find something early in a count in the zone that you prepared for with velocity, you've got to attack it. Good job by Donaldson to jump on the first pitch.
Now Carissa Hamilton, who lined out her first trip to the plate. Down and in, ball one from Margetko.
And it was Carissa Hamilton's last at bat that actually impressed me the most, because that was the first hard hit ball we've seen off Tennessee pitching. It was recorded as an out to right field. However, it was on a line.
Nice swing there, but fouls it back. Strike one.
When you face a pitcher that you know is using a curveball to that outside corner, you have to be able to prepare for it. And knowing that she loves to nip that corner early to get ahead in the count, why not find a way to attack it with aggression and go right at it? Because she's going to give you that changeup in the very next pitch and then put you on your heels at an 0-2 count.
Margetko looking for her fourth strikeout of the game. Misses low, ball two. Heard Karen Weekly talking about the relationship between these three. We talked to her a little bit about that in our call this week and said they're all competitors. They all want the ball, but very supportive of each other. This goes over the head of Holly and left. And it'll be a double for Carissa Hamilton.
And isn't that exactly what Rachel Lawson talked about? If you're going to get that changeup, you've got to make sure that you stay back and don't get fooled. And as Hamilton attacked that pitch, her second at bat with really great contact, it fooled Holly out there in left. And with that, it froze her, went all the way to the wall. If it had not been misplayed on the pickup by Holly, I think they had a chance to get Hamilton at second base. But a little bobble out there allowed for the double.
Team high 11th double of the season for Hamilton. Hammond is way out in front of that pitch. An excellent opportunity with Hamilton on second for Abby Hammond to help her own cause.
It's also in this moment that Kentucky needs to be aggressive on the base pass. So Hamilton, not necessarily known for stolen bases. She's got 3 on the year. However, you've got to be ready for a dirt ball that might kick away from Morrison to try to advance the 60 feet.
Slow roller right side. Scooped up and handled by Clark. There's 2 away.
While that may not have been a fantastic contact by Hammond in the box, it actually was to the right side, which allowed for the advancement of Hamilton to get to third base, and Kentucky sits just 60 feet away from their first run in this series.
It's the shortstop, Maddie Clark. Just 2 hits in the last 10 games for Clark. The last 11 if you include this one. Played her first 2 years at Oregon State. She was a 2-year starter there. This is her second season at Kentucky. Ground ball scooped up by Margetko. And Sage Margetko has posted a shutout through 4 innings. Tennessee up 1. To yesterday, in the sense that there is not a whole lot of offense. Now Tennessee started to get it going a little bit in that 4th inning, but It's not happened today.
Well, and it happened in the 4th inning after they relieved their starter in the circle, and by taking out Oslanzi, they went to Hendiges. And that's where the bats came alive for Tennessee. So I think it's really important that Hammond continues to just stifle these hitters for Tennessee. Speed change, keep it low, not a ton of velocity.
It's her 3rd time through this Tennessee order. The top 3 in the order are 0 for 6 combined. The top 5 in the order don't have a hit, but Alana Leach and Elsa Morrison have both reached via free passes.
But you mentioned it, yesterday there was not a hit in the top 4 batters until the 4th inning, and it was that leadoff home run by Emma Clark. So it's taking time for Tennessee to make adjustments in the box and score runs here in this series.
1-2 is in there for strike 3. Just the first strikeout of the game for Abby Hammond to start off the 5th.
I mean, Abby Hammond is not known as a strikeout pitcher, but she's also not afraid to go glove side against these left-handed hitters, and with that shows dominance on that corner that has been called all day long on the other side for Sage Margetko. So I love the challenge against the lefty for the strikeout.
Ella Dodge takes ball 1 against Hammond. Dodge 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. Left side, stabbed at 3rd by Donaldson.
Hot corner comes alive on that one. And typically with a lefty, you don't get the hot shot over there to the left side, but a really nice grab by Donaldson to keep this one nobody on the bags.
Emma Clark, the last chance in this inning, and the last chance for the top 3 in the order tonight to start 0 for 9 against Abby Hammond tonight. What a performance so far from the freshman. Good pitch on the outside corner, strike 1.
I'd bet money that if you look back at the way that it went in the fall, knowing that Hammond was out a little bit in the fall, and you told Hammond that she was going to be throwing in big SEC series here in the spring, I don't know that she would have believed you.
Right back to that outside corner. Her location has been excellent at times today. There's been very little hard contact off of her. One, 2. That time Clark was not going to take that pitch on the outside corner.
No, and it wasn't a strike, but I like that she was able to spoil that pitch, keep the at-bat alive. Now, discipline at the plate allows that pitch to go by and get you into a better hitter's count, but it does make sure that you don't leave it in the hands of the umpire. She has been using great arm side run in this at bat against Clark, and it is not getting called. I'm guessing that that ball on the outside corner is where the home plate umpire, Merce Addison, has really focused a lot of his attention with most of these pitchers, but those are really good inside pitches by Hammond.
Hard hit right at the shortstop, Clark. A 1-2-3 fifth for Abby Hammond, who's dealing but desperately needs a Wildcat bat to get hot. Megan Rhodes Smith, who pitched at Tennessee herself back from 2005 to 2008. 3 of those years spent with, of course, a Tennessee legend, Monica Abbott, but Karen Weekly has such high praise for her. Feels like she's pretty underrated in the pitching circle throughout college softball, but just said one of the things that stands out most about her is that she is never going to try and make you a Tennessee pitcher. That's not something that you're going to hear people say about their arms. She'll take you where you are and work with your tools to make you into the best version of yourself you can be, rather than trying to change you into something she wants you to be.
And it shows great confidence in her skill set as a coach to be able to step in and meet pitchers where they are, make them better with the stuff they have, and not come in with an ego of this is our way, conform to us. And when you look at the evolution of how she's been able to just absolutely make the pitching staffs for Tennessee so dominant early on, still trying to figure things out with lower numbers in their Division I ranks, but look at the last couple of years as they've been able to just become so dominant, and it's taken them to Oklahoma City in the postseason.
And if sub 3 top 75 is your basement, that's a pretty good spot to live.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams around the country would be okay with that.
Yeah. Can we get just in the 70s consistently? 1-2 count for Sage Margetko. Fouled back by Peyton Plotz, who singled in her first trip to the plate. No one is pushing Carlin Pickens out the door, but when you are Tennessee and you see Sage Margetko and Aaron Newer still have a year and 2 years left, you feel really good about the state of the program, which you have for the last 2.5 decades, as Sage Margetko notches her 4th strikeout.
It's that pitch on the outside. That continues to be the area of the plate that she continues to exploit, and the pitch down and away. She was late number 1, but that pitch, not a hittable pitch, difficult. But you're right, 4th strikeout of the day.
Pop back and into the stands for strike number 1. Tennessee leads the all-time series against Kentucky 55-16. They've won 10 of the last 11. And the last Kentucky win over Tennessee came on April 3rd, 2021 in Knoxville, 13-2. There was a freshman on that team named Aaron Koffel who hit 2 home runs and drove in 6. This is into left center field in Koffel style. It's going to be a 1-out double for Alexa Riddell.
Just so important to continue to build on these moments for Kentucky. They're getting the hits, but then getting stranded. And Kentucky sees bright spots in this game. But are they going to be able to get that hit with a runner in scoring position? Last inning, got that runner on second with a double with 1 out. So very similar to last inning. Now it's up to the bottom of the lineup to flip things back over to the big bat that sits in this 1 spot of Carly Sleeman.
This is going to be a pinch hitter for the Wildcats to face Margetko. Ella Emmert, a redshirt senior from Lexington, steps up to the plate. Another Lexington Catholic product. A few home runs on the season for Emmert. Big swing through that pitch for strike 1.
It's tough to come off the bench and execute in high leverage situations, but Emmert has been in a lot of these big games for Kentucky this year, as she's been kind of their go-to catcher for most games.
She is hitless in the last 5 games. Be a good time to break out of a slump. Kentucky has had their moments. You're not going to get a ton of them against Tennessee, and that goes for most lineups across the country. The changeup completely fools her there for strike 2.
She's got some pop. She's got 3 home runs on the year. Her last one came again in that Auburn win. The only SEC win that Kentucky has this year.
1-2, popped up, shallow right center field. Dodge backtracks for out number 2.
Emmert struggled yesterday as well. She went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, so an improvement by getting the bat on the ball, but just not deep enough to be able to give any kind of advancement for Kentucky.
This is who you want at the plate with a runner in scoring position, Carly Sleeman. 11 home runs this year. Didn't hit her first one until the 15th game of the season. Watches the first pitch outside.
There's only been one walk issued in this game, and it did come to Sleeman. They know that this is a dangerous bat in Kentucky's lineup, perhaps the most confident bat that has been swinging as of late. So this conference being called by Megan Rhodes-Smith for Tennessee to talk to her pitcher to make sure that she's focusing on each pitch. Really important right now as Kentucky sits at a really good spot for them with a runner in scoring position and their biggest, hottest bat at the plate.
It's a very deliberate timeout. Megan Rhodes-Smith marched out of the dugout quickly after that first pitch, almost like she saw something.
Well, it was not a competitive strike, and we've not seen a lot of those kinds of pitches out of Margetko, and so making sure that she doesn't panic and then throw something over the heart of the plate, really important here against a hot hitter.
1-0. Catches the outside corner to Sleeman.
I mean, that pitch is almost in the river, and when it's outside that far, as long as you can continue to get the strike, you better live there, especially knowing that Kentucky's not trying to attack that pitch early.
Trying to go back that direction too far this time. Talking about the home run power of Sleeman. For Margetko, she's only given up 5 on the year, and she's only given up multiple earned runs in a game one time. It was 2 in game 3 against LSU. It was the second time LSU had seen her because she had shut them out the first time she pitched against them in early March. I think Rachel Lawson left that part out of the pep talk heading into this game. Sleeman did a nice job to wait on it and fight it down the right field line.
The part that's impressive about that swing is it was a changeup, and she stayed back in her legs, didn't get fooled by the speed change. That shows great discipline at the plate to be able to shorten things up and go right to the ball without a huge load to throw off her timing.
Might be the last time she comes to the plate in this game. Trying to make it count. That's just beyond the reach of Clark at first base.
You could hear all the Tennessee fans give a big sigh because they know that this is a dangerous bat at the in the box for Kentucky. That would have been a huge grab for Tennessee to get out of a tough situation right now.
Tennessee fans traveled well, not an overly long drive from Knoxville.
3.5 hour drive. These two teams actually play each other in fall competition on the years that they don't match up in SEC play. There's the Lady Vol Locos. They travel too.
Two to Sleeman. Got her looking. Margetko has come up with some big pitches in that game, none bigger than that one.
That pitch had home run potential. Sleeman was not ready. Huge strikeout gets Tennessee back in the dugout and holds the lead.
Came from Western Kentucky to the University of Kentucky. They had just one winning season prior to her arrival, 17 since. They've won big games. They've brought in star players. You think of some of the best players in the game right now in the AUSL. Aaron Koffel and Kayla Kowalik both came out of this program. They've gone to 8 super regionals too, which I think is really the definition of kind of that extra level of winning. It's one thing to win and to go to the postseason. They've won in the postseason too.
They have. They've made their way back. They've made their way to Oklahoma City, and I think that's the thing that they continue to chase. They haven't been there since 2014, but Rachel Lawson continues to try to find that secret sauce to put the product on the field that can execute in SEC play, but also get them back to the Holy Land.
See, that pitch missed the strike zone, and then that Leach also held back. I think the Kentucky fans thought maybe it was just a strike in general.
Yeah, there was no question that she didn't go around, but I think that was a very good pitch out of Hammond.
Off the end of the bat, slow roller. Blum takes care of it.
It's been an impressive day for Hammond in the circle. Her defense is backing her up. We've seen miscues by Kentucky at times, in high pressure situations, but right now defense backing her up and giving a really good showing. They're just sitting 1 run behind. This game is still within reach for Kentucky.
First pitch ball to Elsa Morrison, the catcher. Morrison 0 for 1 in this game with a walk. Top 5 in the Tennessee order do not have a hit today. They only have 2 hits overall, a double from Taylon Holly and a single from Bella Faw, who also came around to score the lone run.
Chucky, you and I were talking before this game about how good the pitching staff is for Tennessee, and the piece of the game that needs to maybe get a little bit better before they get to the end of SEC play is the bats. They've got to execute at the plate.
We talk about Tennessee as a national contender. That is the question, is can they get enough offense? It was the question last year, and they lost some big pieces from that offensive lineup as well. So this year's team, not wowing people with the offensive numbers, and they're a lot younger, so can they get hot? They came out of the gates so good, won 26 in a row to start the season. The bats were really good too. They scored 6 or more in 8 of their first 10 games, and not against nobodies either. They played a really tough early season schedule as Morrison reaches on a walk.
You're right. Early on, Coach Karen Weekly talked about how she felt like this team maybe got lulled into a sense of satisfaction, that they felt like they were rolling along, and then all of a sudden adversity hit. And with that adversity, it's given them moments of pause in the box where it's taken away that aggression to swing early in the count with confidence. And with that, it's given way for teams to attack against them early and put pressure on.
Ground ball right side. They get the lead runner at second. Holly reaches on the fielder's choice. 2 outs.
Confidence in the box is maybe the most important piece of hitting, making sure that it's not about mechanics always. It's about knowing you can attack whatever's coming at you in the circle. Take it back to like you're hitting in the backyard with your sister or with your brother, and you never would have let them beat you. But at times, those doubts and those thoughts creep into your mind when you face the elite competition that you face in the SEC, and that doubt can lead into some less confident ABs.
One of the things that Rachel Lawson talked about with Kentucky and kind of the pitching staff and some of their younger players is like, hey, they're trying to level up right now to this college level, but they're also doing it against the best players in the country in the SEC. So it's been a little bit difficult to gain confidence and maintain it against this schedule.
Now, there is an evolution for freshmen. You know, you play travel ball, then you come into college and you play fall ball. Then you have this pre-conference schedule that is difficult, but then you enter SEC play and it is a whole different animal, and that kind of pressure can change how you approach a game.
Runner goes, nice throw, and the ball pops out of the glove of the second baseman Blum. That was a dot from the catcher Emmert.
So there is that change back behind the dish. Ella Emmert now back behind the plate as Carly Sleeman goes over to third base. And with that, look at the strike delivered out there to second base as Allie Blum, the second baseman, covers up, but can't get enough leather on it. That would have been a for sure out had she held on.
If Ella Emmert could freeze time and run the ball out to the glove of Blum, I don't think she could have put it in a better place to get the runner.
That is a difficult play for a second baseman to make, though, as they make that play on the run, trying to not only beat the runner to second base, but also secure the ball, make the tag, and get it in the right spot. I mean, that is a tough play for a second baseman.
Up the middle, base hit. Karen Weekly gonna send the runner. Here comes the throw, not in time. And Tennessee doubles its lead thanks to Savia Morgan with an RBI base hit.
We talked about it earlier, how Savia Morgan seems to come to the plate in RBI situations, but with that, doesn't try to do too much. Pokes it right back up the middle, and Karen Weekly, aggressive on the base pass, challenges the center fielder, Emery Donaldson, out there. Decent throw, but too much speed, and another run on the board for a 2-0 lead for Tennessee.
Now Maddie Rutan, who walked her last trip to the plate, lifts this into right center field. Plotz goes over and makes the catch. 2 runs for Tennessee in the game, and they lead it late.
Well, S.H. Marjetko ends her day, heads back in the dugout, and Carlin Pickens will now take her time out in the circle.
Sage Marjetko in line for her 9th win. If Pickens can close the door, has a couple saves on the season. This would be number 3 for the senior right-hander from Weaverville, North Carolina. 3rd year as Tennessee's ace, back-to-back SEC Pitcher of the Year, first-team All-American last year and the year before, the SEC Freshman of the Year in 2023.
As a Kentucky hitter, you've been seeing 62 to 65, and now you're seeing 75. So much different coming out of the circle. You've got to get that front foot down early on that toe touched or that stride so that you can make forward progression with the barrel. It is such a big adjustment to face 10 miles an hour different.
2-1.
Your decision-making time is now cut down. You've got to make a decision out of the hand of Pickens. The best way to attack Pickens, who throws with a ton of velocity, is shorten up and just try to connect.
She has the world record for the fastest pitch. I just love to watch her in the bullpen and just let her turn it loose.
79.4 miles an hour. I mean, I faced pitchers throwing 72, 73. I can't imagine facing almost 80.
Wow, blows that one by Blum for her first strikeout against the first batter she faces.
And don't forget, last night or yesterday when she faced Kentucky for the first time, had 12 strikeouts in that complete game, no-hitter. And just late, Allie Blum did not strike out yesterday. Gets rung up in her first plate appearance against Pickens here today.
Maybe Carlin Pickens knew that. She said, hold on a second, something got away from me. I check another one off the list here. It's 13 strikeouts now and 7 1/3 for her in this series. Likely would be bullpen action for her tomorrow as well if we see her. I think the expectation is pretty clear that we'll see Erin Newer, the sophomore from East Aurora, New York, tomorrow.
A lot of times we see pitchers coming from either different conferences or coming from the high school ranks thinking that they throw with a ton of velocity and can come into the SEC and just throw velo past people. This is the only pitcher that I can see that can do it.
To left field, but hooking foul. It doesn't take much. Donaldson didn't seem to take a big rip at that, but off the bat it soared.
That's the thing against velocity. You don't have to have a big swing. You just need to connect on time. So as that ball just curls left of the foul pole, that shows you how much velocity is coming out of the circle. One of the thing that hitters do when they face faster velocity is they speed up their swing, but that's actually the counterintuitive. You've got to just make sure you simplify and connect.
Donaldson fights it off to stay alive, 2-2. Carlin Pickens missed about 12 days with a right arm strain earlier this year. Left a game against Belmont in early March. Prior to yesterday's complete game, she had thrown 5 or more innings just 2 times since she returned. One of those was early against Ole Miss. The other was a complete game win over Mississippi State. That doesn't mean she hadn't thrown. She threw in all 3 games a week ago against South Carolina, 11 1/3 total with 4 hits and just 1 earned run.
in talking with Karen Weekly, she said it's not that Carlin Pickens needed to change anything when she came back. It was just she needed to get her feel back, and that's what we've seen happen this weekend. Yesterday, those 12 strikeouts, she showed that she had feel. She is not questioning that injury anymore, so after sitting out for 11 days, it took a little bit of time to get back on the horse and find her rhythm, and she's back.
Strike one to Carissa Hamilton. Pickens has entered this game on a mission. Came in as a freshman in 2023, part of a three-headed monster that year with Ashley Rogers, the National Pitcher of the Year, and Peyton Gottschall. Now she is the head of that monster, and she is that right now. Absolutely rolling this weekend in Lexington. Haley McClenny's had some of those clutch hits over the years, just a few of them in her time at Alabama with the U.S. national teams. We see a new pitcher for Kentucky, Mackenzie Oslonzi, who started game one, threw really well, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and a couple strikeouts yesterday.
I was so impressed with the way Oslonzi threw yesterday. They did bring in Sarah Hendiges to relieve her, but then brought Oslonzi back in to finish the game yesterday. I'm a little surprised that they bring in Oslonzi in this situation because Hammond seemed to be handling Tennessee hitters pretty well. And I was expecting that Oslonzi was going to be our starter again tomorrow. But this pitch gets so far away from Oslonzi. Not a good start for the reliever.
It's a big concern right there for Tennessee. That is their starting shortstop, Bella Faw, who is slowly limping down the first base line.
Well, there's certain parts of your body that when you get hit, they're just so much more tender. And that one on the shin, not protected there. And that front of your shin, that tibialis anterior, is the part that helps you pick that toe up. So it makes it really difficult to be able to run and walk.
Well, this is the part when you're Karen Weekly and all these coaches across the country trying to put it all together down the stretch in this season. It's a good sign to see Faw laughing it off a little bit, but you can't plan for Faw to get plunked in the 7th inning of a game you feel like is probably just about done and dusted with Carlin Pickens in the circle. You can't plan for an illness to Sophia Knight, your spark plug leadoff hitter, when you're trying to not just get SEC wins. This is a Tennessee team, basically, I mean, barring a collapse, they will host a regional. They want to host a super regional too. They want that path to OKC to run through Knoxville.
And they want it to run through there twice. They want regionals, they want super regionals. This time of the year is where you make sure that you're creating a schedule that you send to the committee to say, look, we have the wins, the quad 1 wins that set us up to be a super regional host.
Look at that from Leach. Just taps it out to the shortstop and reaches on an infield single.
And I know she probably doesn't want me to make this connection, but that looked a whole lot like her sister, another Leach who played at Tennessee, who is still on staff and plays in the AUSL, is one of the chairmen for the Player Executive Committee. That tap and go and speed down the line, a Leach quality that seems to be hereditary.
First and second for Ella Dodge. Takes strike one. Gabby on first. There is Aubrey in the dugout. Alana, the twin sister of Gabby, coming up in a couple hitters. Aubrey, not just on staff here as a director of player development. You mentioned it, playing in the AUSL with the Carolina Blaze. She's got probably a good chance at potentially being on that 2028 team for Patty Gasso.
and not at Oklahoma, for USA, playing in Oklahoma City in the Olympics, trying to win gold and bring it back to the States.
Big swing and a miss from Dodge right there. You've talked about it when I've asked you about that team. What's it take? How do you kind of maybe predict who would be there? And it's all about versatility. Aubrey Leach is one of those that has that versatility, and Karen Weekly said, look, you can put her anywhere in the field. She would be a no-brainer for me on that team. Up the middle, base hit for Dodge. Another run coming around. The throw is not quite there. And immediately Emmert says, you want to challenge that. She thinks she slapped the tag on the runner fall.
And with the slide, when you go head first, there's a lot of times that your feet kick up, and when your feet kick up, it gives a chance for that swipe tag back behind, and I think that's exactly what Ella Emmert says she got, the legs that kicked up.
Kentucky is challenging the safe call at home. The play is under further review.
Now the question becomes, does the tag touch the foot before the hand touches the plate? We're gonna have to get a bunch of different looks at this one to be able to see, first of all, if the tag was applied, and second of all, if it is applied, is it in time or before the hand gets into the plate? So the throw brings Emmert up the line, the leg kick. You can't tell if the tag is applied on that view, but it does look like if the glove does make contact with that foot kicking up, it does happen before the hand gets to the plate. And I think it gets the toe of the runner.
You can see the foot of fall kind of turn, like the cleat got caught on the glove for a second.
Yeah, and that to me is the key. Is that enough to overturn and change this call? We're gonna have to leave that up to Birmingham.
That's enough for me. Is it enough for you?
It's enough for me, but I don't get paid that kind of money. The play continues to roll on the big screen, on the big scoreboard here at Kentucky, and everybody seems to have already made their call that they think this is an out. But Chucky, I think you're right. I think it's the foot that kind of gives it away, the change of direction in that leg kick up that could get this call changed.
Awaiting the call from Birmingham.
After review, the call on the field has been changed. The runner is out. Kentucky has one challenge remaining.
And so because the challenge is successful, Rachel Lawson keeps that challenge in her pocket in case another play comes up. She does not lose that challenge. That is a rule change this year. But good job by Ella Emmert to tell the dugout, I made the tag, I felt the contact, and get Coach Lawson to come out of the dugout and challenge that call.
Karen Weekly asked for a little bit of further explanation and appears content with what she heard.
Not happy, but understands.
She got her JD from the University of Washington School of Law. Look, that's what she does.
She did not plan on being a coach. She was actually a practicing lawyer when she decided to come into the coaching ranks.
She's trying to get Emma Clark's attention right now, to no avail. And finally, it's hello.
She said, I would like to give you some signs, please. We've got two runners in scoring position. You have a wristband that's going to tell you what my numbers mean.
For all these years, you saw the smile there from Karen Weekly. I think she's still having fun. This big spot, just one out in the inning still with two in scoring position for Emma Clark.
Well, and thinking back to how did that out get recorded? Think back to how she got on. She got hit in the leg with a pitch. Did that slow her up just a tad to be able to make that play that close at the plate?
Ball 2. Top of the order, 4th time through, finally cracking the code. An infield single from Leach, a single from Dodge up the middle. Now Clark's turn. Off the handle into the stands. Two from Oslanzi.
Just spoiling those outside pitches. And you know, Chucky, we talked a little bit about it, but by taking Hammond out of the game, Oslanzi came up against some adversity early in this showing here in the circle. Hit the first batter. He's given up back-to-back hits. She's got to be able to find corners and try to get out of this inning with more damage. She was so good yesterday as a starter, but being a reliever is a much different expectation coming out of the pen.
Off the handle on the infield. That's out number 2.
If Kentucky can get out of this inning without any damage, this would be a huge feather in their cap, showing that they are not giving up on a season that has been such a struggle in SEC play. This is a team that continues to impress me, that they continue to fight. They have not rolled over and allowed this season to feel like it's over.
Gabby is on third base. This is her twin sister, Alana. There is a 4th Leach sister, Kelsey, who also played at Tennessee. Just the 1 year, though, finished her career with the Lady Vols. So there's a pretty good age gap between the twins and Aubrey, who's on staff. And we asked Karen Weekly about that. What's the dynamic like with those 3 when they're together? And she said, well, Aubrey's the typical oldest. She's very structured. She's very serious. Also went to law school just like Karen Weekly. She said the twins are the classic youngest, just giddy, goofy, always smiling, and always raking right now. Alana Leach delivers a crucial blow with a 2 RBI single.
Well, and it's execution with runners in scoring position that seems to have been the thing that Tennessee has struggled with. I mean, she was hitting below 200 with runners in scoring position, had not recorded a hit in this series, was hit by a pitch in her first plate appearance here tonight, but was 0 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 2 going into that AB, but that's a huge execution win for Tennessee.
Tennessee fans loving it. Elsa Morrison now at the plate with 2 away. The Lady Vols looking for win number 36 of the season. It would be 5 straight for them as Leach is able to cruise into second. Tennessee won 47 games last year, finished 4th in the SEC with a 15-9 conference record, which is inside. They lost the Women's College World Series opener to Oklahoma on a walk-off 3-run home run. They lost by 1 run. They responded and beat Florida and UCLA and then got eliminated by Texas 2-0. But just goes to show you how good Tennessee was, how close they were to that very top spot.
When you look at it, though, there are moments that you need to learn from. They lost in the first round of the SEC tournament, but then played a home regional, a home super, and advanced to the Women's College World Series.
This is ripped down the right field line and fair. Another run's going to come across, and Elsa Morrison has an RBI double.
Not sure what it is about late innings for Tennessee bats, but that seems to be when they come alive. They wait for the pitching change to take advantage. And for some reason, they've figured it out against Oslanzi, who was so good against them yesterday. Here today, the pitching change from Hammond to Oslanzi, they have adjusted to quickly and put up 3 big runs this inning.
Four of the last 5 have had base hits. This inning started with the hit by pitch of Bella Faw, who was thrown out at home plate. Taylon Holly steps to the plate with another runner in scoring position. It's a pinch runner out there, Zoe Schuler for Tennessee. Holly calls time. There's strike 1 to Holly. Tennessee will be back here in just a few weeks for the SEC tournament. Final year before the tournament moves to a neutral site starting next year. John Crop Stadium has hosted the SEC tournament before, back in 2013, the year this beautiful facility was opened. Starts May 5th through the 9th.
Tickets still available. The SEC crew will be here. They'll be sitting out in left field for the studio crew, the studio show that'll be lead things off. And that's actually set up for alumni weekend that's been happening this weekend for Kentucky, but it's getting exciting to see all the changes here at John Crop Stadium for the big show.
That's going to go up the middle as well, and Tennessee plates a 4th run here in the 7th. Second hit of the night for Taylon Holly.
We talked about it when this inning started, and we saw the pitching change about how Hammond was rolling. Why make a change in this situation? It makes sense because you don't want to have the same pitcher go against hitters for the 4th time. However, right now, Oslanzi just continues to get beat up in the circle.
Savia Morgan trying to keep it going. 3 straight hits, and 5 of the last 6 have hits in this inning.
Being able to hit the corners is what was making Hammond so good in this game. Also changing speeds. Yesterday, Oslanzi was doing a good job of finding corners. Today, it's finding a lot more of the plate.
1-1. Morgan drove in the 2nd run of the game last inning with an RBI single. Two and one. You know what else it is this weekend that we haven't really seen much of? It's Bark at the Park. Not just a day, but all 3 games this weekend.
Yeah, dogs out on the berm all weekend long. I think it's Chucky's favorite weekend of the year at any park we go to.
I just only request Bark at the Park games.
Is that how that works?
I'm not sure that she's a lap dog.
She is tonight. But it's been a pretty rough weekend for Kentucky.
Unbelievable. It is a perfect night, though, for the Pups and anyone to be out for that matter. Kind of overcast skies, but nice cool breeze.
Finally, perfect softball weather.
This was a 1-0 ball game going to the 6th inning. It was a 2-0 ball game coming into this inning, for that matter. The problem for Kentucky, regardless of the lead that Tennessee has, is that Carlin Pickens is now in the circle. And 6 runs feels pretty insurmountable against any of Tennessee's arms.
I think
by Morgan.
The question mark for me, though, is why can't Tennessee do this earlier in ball games? It's other teams that have been able to attack their pitching and put runs on the board, put pressure on them early, and it's hard to combat that when you start pressing late in the game. Tennessee needs to find a way to get started earlier in games. For me, that's the question mark on how deep are they going to be able to go in the postseason. You know that their pitching staff will keep runs down, run production down for the opposing team. But if they cannot put runs up to support that pitching staff, it's going to be really difficult for them to make a big run.
Driven foul down the left field line. They will always be able to point to that start and say that is where we can be. 26-0 out of the gates. Clearwater for them was basically like a test run for Oklahoma City. They have wins over Oregon, Nebraska, UCLA, and Florida State, all in a weekend at the Clearwater Invitational.
Well, and that start was unrealistic, according to head coach Karen Weekly.
Hard hit ground ball, finally, no. Sleeman throws it in the dirt. It looked like Kentucky was finally going to get out of the inning, and the defense bites them.
And that's a tough pick to make over there at first base. Remember, that's another infield position that is different than what was expected at the beginning of the year, with Borzilleri being out with injury. They've got Carissa Hamilton that then had to come in and take that spot. But this tough inning now sees Oslanzi relieved and a new pitcher in the circle for Kentucky.
Sarah Hendigas to try to record the final out in the top of the 7th when we return. Enters the game, senior from Upland, California. Second year at Kentucky. She came over from Oregon State last year. Spent 3 years there. Was part of their Women's College World Series team as a freshman, and just needs one out to get the Wildcat bats back up.
She does, and she pitched in relief yesterday after Oslanzi as well. But had to be relieved as Oslanzi came back into the game to finish things out for Kentucky. We've talked about it several times during the broadcast that Hendigas does not have a different arsenal than the other pitchers on staff. So what she's going to need to do is make sure that she doesn't leave the ball over the heart of the plate, which seemed to be what Oslanzi continued to do against these Tennessee hitters.
First pitch in the dirt. And Maddie Rutan. Apologize, this is actually Meredith Barnhart, a freshman from Parker, Colorado, at the plate. Actually started the last 4 games entering this series. Had a double and an RBI in their midweek win over Kennesaw State. Would love to repeat that right here with a couple on base.
Barnhart came in yesterday in a pinch hit situation, got a big sac fly, so it didn't get recorded as an at-bat, but it was a big run for Tennessee.
Just missing outside to Barnhart.
So important to nip corners, and at least Hendigas right now is not missing over the heart of the plate. That side of the plate has not been called consistently for a strike tonight.
Barnhart fights that pitch off. So what does your gut tell you we will see tomorrow from Tennessee? I think Aaron Newer is a lock to pitch for Tennessee, but what do you think for Kentucky? What would they do in the circle?
And so far, Hendigas hasn't gotten a start. The other two have gotten starts, so based on how this finishes here tonight, that might be where we see tomorrow. And with that kind of strikeout potential, that's going to be an important piece for Kentucky tomorrow as she brings them back into the dugout.
7th here in Lexington, looking for something special against Carlin Pickens as she tries to pick up her 3rd save of the season in the circle for Tennessee. Entered this game when it was just a 2-run game. Does it still count as a save? Came in a save situation. Can it get taken away?
No, she won't get the win because they were
The
already
save,
ahead,
I mean.
so it is a save.
Yeah.
Well, but
Okay.
does she pitch long enough?
She does, yeah. It's just,
So-
but like obviously now 6 runs wouldn't be a save situation, but she entered into a save situation.
Agreed.
Yeah, just like a save.
You had it confirmed.
Abby Hammond will still hit after really spinning a gem through 6 innings for Kentucky. Just gave up the 2 runs. She is 0 for 2 at the plate tonight. This is her first look at Carlin Pickens. Just missing inside ball 1. Big thank you to our whole crew tonight. Aaron Owens, Brad Wilson, Damon Gray, Mark Hall and company. One more game tomorrow night. Mic'd up Monday. Rachel Lawson, Kentucky's head coach, will wear the mic for us. It's always a great day.
I challenged Karen Weekly to see if she could pull a little bit of personality out of Rachel Lawson. These 2 head coaches are actually very good friends off the field. They talk every week or so.
You did confirm. Karen Weekly said, "Hey, we probably don't talk on the week of the game, but talked about 10 days ago."
And I think it's important to have those cohorts that you can lean on because this is a grind of a season and you're both going through very difficult moments. So important to find those support systems to get you through long seasons. But you're right, they haven't talked in the past 10 days knowing they were leading into this matchup.
Two from Pickens. Got her.
Just a difficult adjustment to make as a hitter when you come from middle 60s going to middle 70s to be able to catch up to that pitch. That ball is actually past Hammond by the time she gets the barrel into the contact zone.
Hard hit ball right to the second baseman. Dodge, 2 outs.
Nice solid contact by Clark, but at the same time, it's hard as a defender playing behind Pickens because you get lulled into the strikeouts that continue to happen. So making sure that you stay sharp and do your pre-pitch preparation defensively behind the strong arm of Pickens is so important.
Swing and a miss from Plotz for strike 1. I'm impressed with you on that phrase. Pre-pitch preparation.
We've got to be careful with that alliteration for sure.
I said it in my head and I kept getting pepperation.
As a pitcher, you don't need to hear the word pepper. You do not want to get peppered.
Plotz has a single and a strikeout tonight. Her single went off the base of the wall in left field, but it kind of bounced back to the left fielder, Holly, and held her at first base. Or else the 3 hits for Kentucky would all be doubles tonight. The other 2 are.
And it's those doubles that give you hope, but it could not find a way to push a run across.
And down to their final strike. That's what is interesting about this. You're not going to get a lot of chances against Tennessee. If you erase the top of the 7th with those 4 runs, I think you could say Kentucky was at least in enough positions to win tonight.
They were. They had opportunities to pull off a big upset win against Tennessee, but one crooked inning.
Pickens gets the strikeout looking. Plotz thought she was headed to first base, but that'll do it. Carlin Pickens comes in, 2 scoreless.
Gotta love the velocity coming out of the circle if you're Tennessee. Kentucky unable to make the adjustment, gives up a big 4 spot in the 7th, and they come away with another win, another loss against the Vols.
Tennessee's 9th straight win against Kentucky. They take the series. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow night on Mic'd Up Monday. Rachel Lawson will wear the mic for us. Sage Margetko gets the win, her 9th of the season. Pickens gets the save. We will see you tomorrow night. For my partner Jenny Dalton Hill and our entire crew, I'm Chucky Kemp. Send you to Peter Burns in the Rally Cap studio.